So these are all of the books I'm currently reading. These are all the books that I have either bought or have been gifted to me that I have yet to read. And these are books I've actually read. What's up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if this is your first time. My name is Alyssa, and here we talk about all of the things pertaining to books and building your best life. I just want to mention I'm filming without glasses today because the lighting was just, there's already some pretty deep shadows here, and it was a bajillion times worse with my glasses on. So we're just rocking with this. Today, I am confronting my currently reading list. These are not just books that are on my TBR. These are books I have started reading and have not finished, and it's turned into a big problem, you guys. A big problem. This never used to be me. I used to be the sort of person who would finish a book within, a few days to a week, and then I'd move on to the next one. But something changed like 3 years ago, I think. I think this has been based on about 3 years ago. I don't know, I started losing interest in a book and I started reading a new one, or I got a book and I could not wait to get started on it, so I would start reading it without finishing the one. And it's piled up, and so I thought I would go through the books that I'm currently reading today, talk about them, maybe mention why I haven't finished reading them. I really hope you can't hear my dog right now. She's barking and my mom's yelling at her to be quiet. So hopefully that doesn't make it in the audio. If it doesn't, Dylan, you can just cut that part out. So yeah, these are the books on my currently reading / hopefully soon to be finished list. First up, we have this one. The Anatomy of Prose by Sacha, I think, Black. I don't know how to pronounce her first name. Yeah, 12 Steps to Sensational Sentences. I got this book a couple months ago, and it's like one of my more recent currently reading books, and I really, really enjoy it. There is so much good information in here about writing prose, especially from like the copywriting, copy editing side of things for your work, if you're looking for more knowledge in that area, or if you're a copy editor who like wants to brush up on some of the things that you should be looking for in people's work. Definitely this book is amazing. She really likes gin, which I'm not a fan of gin, but I guess I won't hold that against her. And she likes to be a little, has a little bit of a crude sense of humor, which isn't really my style, but the knowledge in this book is really, really good. And it's kind of funny because she is this big proponent of, like, you shouldn't have rules, and that these are just supposed to be guidelines to help you try to enhance your work. And so it's funny because she'll sometimes talk about a grammar rule in like a chapter, and then in the sentence that she's talking about this grammar rule, she'll actually break it. So it's like kind of a meta grammar situation. And it's really, really entertaining. She's a very entertaining writer, and I highly recommend this book if you are looking to improve your writing craft. Next book I am currently reading, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Oh my gosh, I cannot say enough about how amazing this book is, and it's probably the book I'm going to finish first. I started reading it last month because it's the current read for the business mastermind that I help facilitate. This is so good. It's kind of financial literacy 101, so if you feel completely lost about money, if you feel like you're in this just like cyclical hole of like debt and you can't figure out what's going wrong with your bank account, or even if you've just never really learned about money before, read this book. It's amazing. It'll change your life, probably. It's changing mine in a deep, profound way. Yeah, really, really, really recommend this book if you haven't read it. yeah, I'm about halfway through with this one. It looks a lot bigger than it actually is. About the last fourth of each chapter is like a study guide with like questions that you can discuss with people or answer on your own. So and it reads really, really quickly. So yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Highly recommend. We'll finish reading soon, but have not finished reading yet. The next book, book number 3, Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This book, I want to say I've been reading it for like 2 years or a year and a half. It's been a while, and I finally figured out, I mean, I'm super close to finishing. There's like, I could finish this in a day if I wanted to. Probably even at nighttime before going to sleep. But there's just, I don't know how to express, I've got a love-hate relationship with this book. There are some characters that I absolutely love reading their storylines, like Dorian, Manon, and who knows if I'm saying these names right because like she does her names weird. Like I really like that side of the storyline. And then sometimes with Aelin and Rowan, but I'm more there for like the Alid Lorcan ship. And it's just, I think the war that has been going on in this book is just lasting too long for me. There's a very large scale war, and it's taking a long time to finish, which it's a war. Like, you know, those things aren't easily resolved. And then there's just some other things, like, I don't know how spoilery I should get. This book has been out for a while, but maybe just like, spoiler alert right here. There's this part where Aelin is supposed to die, and it really, this might be a controversial opinion, I don't know. I think it would have made sense for her to be dead, and I wouldn't have been that sad about it. And it's not because I dislike her as a character. I've really enjoyed her character and her story and all of that, but there's just this whole prophecy that builds up to, like, you know, her supposed to be saving the world by dying, and it would have made a lot of sense, but instead she lives, and I feel like it's just kind of weak. I feel like it would have been stronger if she had died. Maybe that makes me a bad person, I don't know, but yeah. I'm almost done, and I am curious to see how this will be at the end. So this will probably be the second book I finish reading. Book number 4, Life is in the Transitions by Bruce Feiler, maybe? Don't know how to pronounce his last name. This is a book that I actually had to start reading for work about, I didn't have to, but it was highly, my boss bought this for everyone on the staff. Super applicable to living in COVID-19 times. Also, if you've ever been through any sort of major trauma or anything that felt like trauma to you, this is a super good book to read. I've gotten about, well, you can't really see there. I'm using the cover as a bookmark right now. I'm about a chapter and a half into this, and I started reading it a couple days ago, not very long ago. Yeah, it's very interesting. He interviewed like 250, I think, individual people from like all different walks, stages of life and whatnot, and has all of this story-based evidence about how their life transitions were, you know, how they handled that and what happened. And he intersperses that with discussions about like how to view life. So there's like a linear view, there's like views of it in stages, there's a view of it like as a cyclical thing, and there's all these different ways to view life that I had never really thought of before. So it's very interesting, kind of introspecting while reading this book and evaluating like my perception of what I think life looks like. And so yeah, but the heart of this book is talking about how to deal with what Feiler calls life quakes, which, like, if you're living alive during this 2020 time, we're all kind of experiencing a life quake with living through a pandemic right now. So it's a very good book. I would recommend it. It's a little bit on the sciencey side, but it's interspersed with stories and whatnot. So it's got a good mix of like academic and engaging writing in it, if you're interested in reading it. Next book I've started, I have not finished. Book number 5, C.S. Lewis, The Screwtape Letters. I don't know how long I've had this book for. I mean, I think I got it in high school? No, it couldn't have been in high school. No, I got this in college. I got this in college. So sometime before the year 2013 is when I got this book, because that's when I graduated. And I have gotten farther than that. It's just that I had started reading this book and then I let someone else borrow it, and then by the time I got it back, I'd forgotten where I was. But I think I was closer to halfway through. So I thought I'll just read the whole thing again. And yeah, this is a little bit lower on my list just because I've read most of it before and I haven't read most of the other books that I've read. They're all new reads for me. So it's not the last thing on my list that I'm going to finish, but maybe the second to last, possibly. Still a good book. I still recommend this book if you hadn't read it yet. It's very interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, it's not top priority for me right now. Next book I am reading is called My Friend the Holy Spirit by Mark D. Peterson. This was actually recommended to me from a woman at my church because I was very interested in learning more about like the spiritual gifts talked about in the Bible. I grew up in a church that didn't really talk about what those were or what that looked like in real life, so apparently this book is supposed to give me some insight into that. Again, I read like the foreword and I think the introduction. It may be part of the first chapter. I don't remember what I've read so far, but yeah. Oh yeah, it's like the overview type of deal, the introduction. I read the introduction, and that's how far I've gotten in this book so far. But yeah, I don't know if I recommend this one yet because I haven't read enough of it to make a recommendation, I don't feel. But it is one that I started reading and have not finished yet. Next book. Book number, I don't know, I've lost count at this point. Writing the Fiction Series, A Complete Guide for Novels and Novellas by Karen S. Wisner. Wow, I got this book a couple years ago, I think. Maybe a year ago. It's all, the timeline of when this happened is all very fuzzy, and like, once again, have read maybe the first couple chapters. It looks like it's going to be a good book. Wisner's writing style doesn't exactly captivate me the way the other book on writing I have by Sacha Black is, but this looks like it has a lot of good information about plot. There's like talking about story arcs and characters and consistency and organizing techniques. The cool thing is, and I think this is probably one of the reasons why I bought the book, is there's this whole section on series marketing tips, which I thought would be very good to learn about because I am working on a series that I will be marketing. So yeah, it's very much more on like the developmental side of writing a series, not so much on the craft side, for what I can tell from the little I've read so far. And it's very word heavy. Most of it, like, you kind of got to be in one of those academic reading moods to get through it, I think. But I am going to finish this. I just don't know at what point that is going to happen. The next book, The Future is Faster Than You Think. This book is mind-blowing. I have read, I think, 4 or 5 chapters of this book. It is mind-blowing, but hard to read, at least for me. It's very, very academic. It's a high reading level. It's interesting because it talks about basically the compound effect of technology and how everything is just basically snowballing into this crazy futuristic world that like previously people only dreamed about. Like, our society is going to be ready to have within the next 5 to 10 years. And it talks about like different things that companies have been working on to like make that happen, and just basically why that's gonna happen. If you are into writing sci-fi, this book would be so good to read. I've played around with some sci-fi story ideas before, but I don't know that I like plan on seriously writing any of them. But reading this book like triggers those ideas so hard because it's just the the type of technology that's coming out, you guys, it's nuts. Like, it sounds surreal. I don't even want to get into the technicalities of it because I don't have a ton of time left on my video, but yeah, if you want to know about what's going to happen in our near future and how to be prepared for that and what adjustments you might want to start making now, or if you're just looking for some sci-fi inspiration, definitely recommend this book, but it might not be all that interesting to read. Next book is Secret of the Codex. This is the OG version. I think I got this like 3 years ago, and I'm about a fourth of the way through. And it's one of those things that I got, and I got other books at the same time, and I started reading all the other books and haven't finished. It is by a fellow indie author, so if you want to support indie authors, definitely go check it out. I think for me, it's just genre-wise, this isn't really my thing. It's kind of like archaeological, real world, but with supernatural elements in it. And I don't know if it's just the emphasis on history, but it doesn't like quite vibe with my interests. So I'm definitely going to finish this for sure. I just don't know when that will be. Probably when I finish, I think the only other fiction book I have here is Kingdom of Ash. So this is going to be my next fiction tackle after I finish that book. And the last book, well, is A Tribe Called Bliss by Lori Harder. Really recommend this if you are a female who is looking to make female friendships. This book is it's all about that. And Lori Harder, she has a very engaging writing style. She's a great storyteller. This is very easy to read. The reason I've gotten through like the first little part of it, the reason why I haven't finished reading it is because it's also like a workbook style that you're supposed to go through with friends. And you can read through it on your own, but I feel like I want to do it with people, so I might need to find some people to do that with. That's my big reason for not having finished it yet. But it is a very interesting book, and I might just read through it once on my own and then go through it again with some of my friends if they're interested in it. But highly recommend this book. It's well written. So, those are all the books on my currently reading list. If you have any books on your currently reading list that you've taken forever, or if you have more than like 9 or 10, let me know in the comments so I can feel a little better about myself. I don't know why this is a problem for me, but it won't be much longer because I'm gonna get through that list and I'm gonna tackle all the other books on my TBR. That's all I have for today. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to receive weekly content on all of the things pertaining to books and building your best life, go ahead and subscribe. Videos go up every Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, bye!